Thank you for joining us on today's edition of Naples Daily Newsmakers. About 6 months or so ago, we journeyed on down to the Naples Senior Center and took a look at the Senior Center because it was getting ready to expand. It was going to grow from 3,000 square feet to 6,000. Now keep in mind that the Senior Center has been open for less than 2 years, but there's been such a cry and response here in Naples that the Senior Center was called on to expand. So here we are 6 months later, and we head on down to the Senior Center again. We talk with Jackie Faffer, who oversees the Senior Center and is the executive director of the Jewish and Community Family Services here in Collier County. So later on in the program, you'll hear from Jackie, and she'll tell you a little bit about an open house that's coming up there at the Senior Center. It'll be on Sunday, December 6th from 1 to 3 p.m. The public open house will offer refreshments, entertainment, and tours so you can see for yourself what's happened, the magic that's happened at the Naples Senior Center. But first up on the program today, editor Dave Osborne from the Daily News sits down with Terrence Duffy, who is the president and executive chairman of the CME Group. Duffy was in town recently at the Ritz-Carlton Naples for the Global Financial Leadership Conference, and he talked about some of the news going on in the financial world and otherwise. Now, here's the interview with Dave Osborne and Terrence Duffy.
Hi, I'm Dave Osborne, an editor at the Naples Daily News, and I'm here in Naples at the Ritz-Carlton with Terry Duffy, executive chairman and president of CME Group, which is the largest futures exchange in the world.
Yes.
Can you tell some people what the Global Financial Leadership Conference is about and who comes down here for that?
There's several diverse groups of people that come down here, Dave, but what's really important is we bring about 300 to 350 of our top clients from around the world. And this is a client conference. It's not your traditional conference where you have a lot of vendors coming in trying to sell their products. It's just market end users of our products. And we think it's a great, unique conference because nobody's being hassled to buy anything, and they get a chance to talk to a very diverse group of speakers on top of it. So over the years, we've had former presidents of the United States. We've had the former president of France, Mr. Sarkozy, here. We've had secretaries of state, Clinton and others, and we've had President Clinton, and we've also had President Bush, so Tony Blair, to name a few. So we've had a really good list of speakers throughout the years at our conference. So I think it's a little bit more unique than some of the other conferences you see around the world.
Yeah, and I've been, I think this is my 4th year. I was here after the presidential election with Karl Rove and James Carville.
Right.
And that was very entertaining. And this year, of course, you have 2 pretty prominent newsmakers in the light of what just happened in Paris. Could you tell people who that is?
Sure, that's former secretaries Hagel and Panetta, and Leon, as we know, is also the former head of the CIA. On top of that, both being defense secretaries. So, it'll be interesting to hear their thoughts on the security abroad and here at home, because there's obviously much concern here at home as well, and all our hearts go out to all the folks throughout France.
Will they be talking also about financial security or some of those issues too, or?
I'm not so sure. I'm sure they had kind of like a little playbook that they were going to go by for the conference, but now with recent events, I'm assuming they probably have altered that. So it'll be interesting to see how they handle it. They've both been out of office for a couple of years now, so it'll be interesting to see what their thoughts are and how much open they can be about this type of national security issues.
And also Alan Mulally, the former CEO of Ford Motor Company, the former CEO of Walmart. There's a lot of really interesting people here, and some of the other people, I guess some of the celebrities are going to be here too.
Well, we do. We have former Governor Schwarzenegger, and obviously our very big actor, and then we have Martin Sheen. From the West Wing and many other things. So we have and then we have Bob Schieffer coming. So we're going to do a little version of Meet the Press. So we'll do a little play on your business.
Yep.
And so that'll be quite interesting also. So that'll entertain our clients tomorrow night at our gala dinner. So we're excited about that event. And we have actually another surprise guest, but we're not going to tell them out.
You're not going to tell us? Okay.
No.
And this is the 8th year?
Could be another president, though.
Really?
It could be.
Could be.
So we'll see.
We'll have to check it out then.
Right, for sure.
This is the 8th year of the conference.
Yep.
Has it grown every year? Or like you said, you kind of limit it to 300 to 350?
Yeah, we maxed it out at a certain level because we don't want to lose the boutique-ness of it and the ability for people to interact with our speakers. And I think if you get too big, then it doesn't work anymore. And the hotel is a perfect size for us. Yeah. Naples is a great area. My clients love to come to Naples, Florida. I live here part-time, so it's nice for me as well, so I get to stay at home. And it's just a great venue for us.
Do the guests actually get to mingle with some of the celebrity people?
They do.
And how does that work?
It works out real well. Everybody's really relaxed, because nobody feels uptight. I have a dear friend, Mark Wahlberg, an actor that I met down here years ago. We've become friends over the years now, so I would go out and stay at his place in California.
Wow.
And he was just a regular guy. This is when he was doing the movie Lone Survivor. So we had the actual Lone Survivor here that Mark played in the movie.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yep, so it was really a great event. So we bring people like that are not uptight. And then we have the LPGA players here as well, because we have the Tour Championship here in Naples, which we brought to Naples a few years back, which has been a big success for the area too.
I think when I asked you last year, you said you start planning for next year's. Are you already starting? Like the day this ends, you almost have to start it.
We actually are, because one of the things I like to do is bring John Boehner in, and John's a former Speaker of the House, a dear friend of ours, and in Marco. So I talked to John. I'll be with him this week, but I want John to be here as a speaker. But right now he's just being removed from the speaker, not removed, retiring. It'd be very difficult for him to say certain things to our crowd. But a year from now, I think it'll be very fascinating to have something like that. So we're already thinking about guys like John and others that could potentially be coming to the conference next year.
Is there a high demand? I mean, do the tickets sell out really fast?
Yeah, the demand is high, and when we originally put this conference on in 2007 or 8, whatever year it was, we basically underwrote the entire event, and now we have over $1 million worth of sponsorships coming into this event. So it's come a long way in a very short period of time. So people are trying to get their names attached to the conference just to be a part of it. So our sponsorship level has gone up dramatically. This year, for the first time, we have Microsoft as a sponsor. So I think that's telling them this conference has come a long way.
Does it help I know it's only 350 people, does it help the local economy at all in some way?
Absolutely. It absolutely helps the local economy, between the restaurant business and the retail shops and things like that. There's a lot of high-end individuals coming in here with their families. A lot of them bring families, a lot of them stay for the golf. And then we have the golf for the whole weekend, which brings people from all different parts of Florida into the Naples area to watch the Ladies Tour Championship. And with the race to the CME Globe, and we're going to see one lady get the $1 million year-end prize. It's pretty exciting, and so it brings in people from other parts of Florida to watch the golf too.
Where are people coming from around the world for this?
I would say London is a big part of it. We have a lot of Asian folks coming in for this, and then obviously North America is our biggest clientele, mostly New York.
Because of what happened in Paris, did you have to do anything with security, anything different?
We don't try to comment on that because it's just, we don't want to comment on that. Yes, we've always had a very tight security operation because of what we do for a living, but we don't talk about any differences.
I was just curious.
Yeah.
As far as other parts of the world, the globe, are there people that come in from that have never been here before? Or how does that happen? If they want to come from another country and never been here, how do they get a chance to come here?
Well, normally they work with our product and services people because we have so many people that work for the exchange itself.
They're your clients too.
They're our clients. So we have people that are representing the clients at the company. So they say this guy or that young lady should be here, and it'll be interesting. And also, you didn't mention this, but we have Elizabeth Holmes here. Okay. And I don't know if you've seen Elizabeth Holmes. She's the one that developed the blood drop to test all the different things, and she's been under a little bit of controversy in the Wall Street Journal lately. So she'll be our luncheon speaker tomorrow, which I think will be quite fascinating for our guests too to hear her.
Oh, that's really cool.
Yeah. So we do get a lot of people from around the world, traders, and our folks. We have, 150 to 200 people in Europe working for the CME Group. We have another 100 people on the ground in Asia working for CME Group. So we have employees all over the world that are servicing these clientele, and so they tell us who would like to come to the conference.
Did you live here before the conference, or did you visit down here and then you decided to put the conference here? How did that work?
Yeah, so my wife and I and the kids, we came down in '06 and bought down here, and then it was really right after that we decided to have a conference, and I always loved this hotel and the people here have always been super nice to me, so I said, let's bring it to Naples. So most conferences are either on the other coast, if you're going to Florida, or they're up in Orlando. And I thought, this is more unique. It's a little bit more difficult to get to, but once you're here, you're pleased that you came. So Naples is a great place.
Which seems like it's one of the more, unique, like you said, or boutique conferences. I mean, the people that come here it has to be one of the most unique of its kind in the world.
Well, we had a comment one time when we put out a survey after the conference, and one of the comments was, it's the only conference you could ever go to where every panelist would be a keynote speaker at any other event. Yeah. So think about that statement. That's a very bold, big statement that gives our conference the credibility that makes us all thrilled with what we're doing.
Well, like when you contact Julia Louis-Dreyfus or Arnold Schwarzenegger or other people, have they heard about it, or how do you convince them to come here? How do they?
Well, they look at, obviously their reps look at who's been here in the past. So it's all how you get off on year one. So we got off on year one with Tony Blair. so the former prime minister.
Right.
So, you know, you get credibility right out of the chute with the people you have, and then you get the former presidents coming here, and they see that. So they understand that when they see Karl Rove or other folks like that here, or they see former politicians or world leaders coming to our conference,
Yeah.
it gets a little bit easier to invite these folks, and actually we get a little knocks on our door, who are you having this year?
Yeah. Yeah.
So people want to be here.
Yeah.
And so that's good.
That's awesome.
It's great for Naples, it's great for the Ritz-Carlton, it's great
Yeah.
for the CME Group.
Now on Newsmakers, we take you out to where the magic is happening here in Southwest Florida. And the magic has been underway in particular over the last 6 months or so here. And here is at the Naples Senior Center. Joining us for today's edition of Newsmakers is Jackie Faffer, who is President and CEO of JFCS of Southwest Florida. Jackie, thank you for taking time out to talk about what's going on here at the Naples Senior Center. Appreciate that.
Thank you, Alan, and thank you for your interest in what we're doing.
So a little bit of magic has been happening in the sense that we were standing where there was a wall not all that long ago, and we've seen an expansion underway here. But let's sort of take folks back 6 months or so. We were here before any of this expansion began, and we talked a little bit about JFCS and what its role and its plans were. For those who need a reminder, can you talk a little bit about what JFCS does here in Southwest Florida, what it stands for?
Yes, JFCS of Southwest Florida, Jewish Family and Community Services, is a non-sectarian human service agency serving everyone in the community who needs our assistance. We provide mental health services, geriatric case management, financial assistance, and we have a food pantry. On January 22nd, 2014, we opened our doors to the first senior center in Collier County. And the senior center is all about socialization and having a good time.
And so this is really one of a kind. There's nothing else around like this anywhere in the area, right?
Well, there is another center in Golden Gate, and we have so many seniors in Naples and in our area that you know there can never be too many services. But this center was the first, and it is the largest at this point. We increased our square footage from 3,000 to 6,000 square feet to accommodate our current membership of over 800.
And you alluded to the one out in Golden Gate. This one here in the Naples area, can you sort of situate people where that is in the Naples area?
Yes. It's at 5025 Castello Drive, which is south of Pine Ridge and just north of 41. But most important, when FGCU, Division of Social Work, did the study of senior needs in our area, they found that we were sitting right at the bullseye of the target of where the needs are.
And some of those needs you mentioned briefly there before, but what are some of the types of services that are offered here at the Senior Center?
Well, everything we do is to help the seniors find meaning in life, make friends, have activities that enhance their self-esteem, and that includes cards, mahjong, art classes, Tai Chi, as you see going on right behind us. We have a Wednesday lunch, a hot lunch, and tomorrow we actually have 164 people coming to that lunch. We have lectures, we have great discussion groups, we have French classes, Spanish classes, Italian classes, you name it, we have it.
So beyond art and classes and instructional classes, computer classes?
We have computer classes and we have one-on-one computer instruction. And we have something called the Dakin Brain Fitness Program, which is a computer program to enhance cognitive brain functioning.
And you also have some assistance types of work that goes on here with.
We are thrilled to have been the first in the county to have what we call a community partnership program. Every Wednesday, when we have the highest number of attendees here at the center, we have representatives from other nonprofits serving seniors using an office free of charge. We have Shine, we have the Sheriff's Department, we have the Alzheimer's Support Network. So the seniors really have a one-stop shop to get the information they need. They don't have to travel all over town. We have Collier Area Transportation coming to help them fill out applications. We even had flu shots a few weeks ago.
So you mentioned the expansion here briefly. It's gone from what square footage that it was a few months ago to what now?
It's gone from 3,000 to 6,000. And as you know, we undertook the expansion rather soon after opening our doors. And that's because when we opened our doors on January 22nd, we had 80 members. 80 people walked through the door. Today we have about 804 members.
Wow.
Speaking to the need in our area for the services we provide. We also found that there was a need to offer more than one program at a time. So when I took you on the tour a little bit earlier, you saw that we have 5 distinct program areas, 2 separate program rooms, and 3 other areas where programs can be operated concurrently, enabling us to serve even more people.
When we return, we'll talk some more with Jackie Faffer about how all of this magic has happened here in the last 6 months with the expansion of the Naples Senior Center. Stay with us and find out more about the expansion here. We're back now at the Naples Senior Center again with Jackie Faffer, who's going to talk a little bit about the expansion that's been going on here at the center. Jackie, before the break, you talked about the huge increase in membership numbers here. Do you have any kind of a demographic breakdown of what that entails?
Yes, Alan. 74% of our members are women. 48% are over the age of 80. We have 5 people who are over the age of 100.
Wow.
And they participate quite actively in our programs. We also have about 51% who are at or below the poverty line, with 20% being slightly above.
And so you're expanding to serve that base here. Are there new programs that are going to be made possible through the expansion here?
We have a great group called the Dream Team. It's the advisory group of the Senior Center membership, and they're always coming up with new programs. We just started an Italian conversational class because that was requested.
Really? Wow.
We have a fabulous new Senior Center manager who comes out of health and wellness. So my guess is we'll be seeing some more programs related to the health and wellness of seniors.
And you talked a little bit about some feedback that you've gotten there. What generally is the feedback you hear from the participants and what this center means to them?
We have some participants who come every day, and what they say to us is it's given them a new meaning in life. They now have friends. They no longer feel isolated. And if I'm talking about the 800 members, I have to mention the 130 volunteers who support the Senior Center by being here and taking part in the activities with the members. They're about the same demographic as the members, and they've formed friendships, and we have some who volunteer every day. So the Naples Senior Center has really become a home for this population who has moved here from elsewhere, lost loved ones, and just needed a place where they can perhaps make new friends.
You've got the work here fairly completed, and we talk about the members and the volunteers who get to come in here and see this. Is there going to be an opportunity for the public to come in and take a look at what's going on here?
Yes, Alan. On February 6th, we will have an open house from 1 to 3 p.m., and we will welcome the community to help us celebrate, as you called it, this miracle on Castello Drive.
We're also at a time period of the year where we've got the holidays coming up. How does the Senior Center here handle events around the holidays? Do the programs change, or how does it change?
They become even a little more special. So for example, the Wednesday before Thanksgiving, we have a full Thanksgiving dinner. Since we are non-sectarian, we celebrate the winter holidays. So we'll have carols and other Hanukkah songs perhaps, and of course, drop by when we have our New Year's Eve party. It is from 11 to 1, so it is rather early, but people come in festive attire, and we sing Auld Lang Syne, and we have a little special lunch that day. No champagne, but maybe a little bubbly something else. It's a lot of fun.
One of the questions that might be lingering out there for people is we've got the expansion here, and it's happened so quickly after you opened. How do you pay for something this quickly?
Well, we were very fortunate to get a challenge grant of $150,000 from the Schultz Foundation. Patty and Jay Baker matched it with $100,000 with additional funding from the Brookdale Foundation and from generous donors.
And so in terms of the expansion, you talked a little bit about what's been made feasible and what some of the plans are immediately with the opening here. Has there been a longer range plan put together, or are you going to be maxed out with space here? Or what's going to happen down the road if you're going to grow this quickly?
Well, we're still selling bricks to support the expansion, but those bricks are going to go on the wall, so that's not going to give us any more space, just more funding. Our goal is to be here to serve the needs of the community. We need to take a little bit of a breather because we just completed this about 6 weeks ago, but the goal of JFCS, the Naples Senior Center, our board and our supporters is to be here and meet the needs of the community, whatever that means.
And your nonprofit status, so...
We're 501c3. In fact, on January 9th, we're having our annual fundraiser at the Vineyards Country Club, a night of Motown magic, and that's a fundraiser to support the agency and the Naples Senior Center.
So anyone who wants to find out a little bit more about the programs that are offered here and some of the events you've got coming up with your open house or so forth, where can they go to find out more information about what you offer here?
They can go to our website, www.jfcsswfl.org, or they can call us at 325-4444.
Jackie Faffer, we want to thank you for joining us here today on Newsmakers as we take a look at the expansion of the Naples Senior Center, which has happened in a few short months, right where magic replaced walls. Thank you for joining us today.
Thank you, Alan.